Hey, I'm Richard Ard. I'm with the City of Mebane Inspections Department, and I'm here to show you a mechanical inspection on a rough end. Right here we have the main service coming in the garage. This line branches off to the water heater. It's either going to be a tankless or regular gas water heater. Then this line goes up to the manifold, which is upstairs, and we'll cover that here in a minute, and I'll walk you through that. Then right now we're going to go inside the house and look at the ductwork. Okay, so like before I was speaking in the garage, we're going back over this gas line coming upstairs. Make sure it's sealed to the exterior. Make sure it's not strapped, so if they are putting siding or anything on it, it can flex and move. We like for them to be labeled every 5 feet. It's got to show us the pressure. Any damages or anything that they do to this, it needs to be taped. Up here you'll see the nail plate. It needs to go on both sides, so that way when they're hanging the drywall, it extends down. It won't damage this gas line and put a hole in it. Okay, and another issue we see sometimes on the rough ends is we check to make sure the ductwork's strapped, make sure it's not flopping around, it's connected to the trusses. A lot of times we'll see that. Sometimes the straps will break, depending on which trade comes in here first. So that's another issue. Or it's got to be sealed around the box, and around the return they use the mastic and they seal all that so that the air don't leak out when it's pulling the air back in the return. I'm going to take you into the mechanical room where the furnace is, and we'll talk about that. All right, we have the mechanical room here. It's a small area, so for this gas furnace that we're seeing right here, they have to have combustion and air. So on this particular house, they use a high-low for combustion air. Sometimes we question the size of the room versus the BTUs on the furnace. So then they'll supply us with a calculation, tell us what size opening they got to have, high and low, in this round duct, one high and one low for the combustion air. Also in this room, they have the manifold here. As you can see, the gas piping coming in. A lot of times they'll go ahead and label it on the rough end and tell us which line's going to which appliance. So you got the main line coming back in here with a sediment trap, with a cutoff valve, going to the manifold. The manifold then reduces the pressure to the range and the furnace. And they also put a pressure test on here for us to check on the rough end as well before we put the meter on. That's another test we do on this mechanical rough end inspection. They always have a cutoff valve in each appliance, and they have to insulate the condensate line going out. And that was a new requirement that came in, I think 2 cycles ago. I'd have to check. The next thing I'll look at is the laundry area. This is the dryer duct here. Sometimes we'll make them label it if we question how far the length is, no more than 35 feet if it's further. But this run right here is real short and goes straight to the exterior. They also put makeup air in this laundry room to move the air. They'll put a louver grill right here to get airflow in there. Most of the houses we do have that. And that's typically about it, all we cover on a mechanical inspection. Gas piping and the HVAC and the duct work.
Good afternoon. My name is 𝒐𝒖𝒈𝒉 𝑰𝒏𝒔𝒑𝒆𝒄𝒕𝒊𝒐𝒏. I am an electrical inspector for the City of Mebane. And this is a rough end inspection on a single family dwelling. Normally when I come into a single family dwelling, I start in the garage. I normally enter through the garage. And I check for the required outlets in the garage, which this particular unit does have the required outlets in here. That's a 20 amp outlet here, 20 amp outlet here. Also, I check to make sure that all of their outlets for the garage door openers are all cut in and tied in as they're supposed to be. In this case, he's got them in. I also look for nail plates where he's bringing wiring outside of the garage, and looks like he's coming out of the top on this one. I check the wiring in here with this. I carry this to check the wiring to make sure it's stapled to code. And looks like these are. And that's pretty much it out here in the garage. You ready to move inside? Okay, we've now entered the dwelling from the garage. And in here, I'm looking for outlet spacing. There's an outlet here, and this outlet here is meeting the requirements of a hallway. This is a foyer, and the outlets in this foyer are meeting the requirements of a foyer. This is a living room. I check for outlet spacing in the living room, and then I proceed to the kitchen and make sure that all the countertop outlets are laid out as required by code. Last, after I look at all the outlet spacing, I check to make sure that they have because this particular unit does not have a bedroom on the first floor. So I check to make sure that they have a smoke alarm on this level, which here, I see that they have one right here, the smoke alarm on this level. Also, if they have an island that they have to use underground wiring for, I check that to make sure that the wiring for this island is in place. Check the lighting. These are going to be the lighting this is going to be the lighting that's installed over the counter, so I make sure that those are correct. They've got the right boxes, right wiring in those boxes for them. So it looks like this unit here, it appears to look pretty good. And then I may walk outside and make sure he's got his outside lighting, but usually I can tell from right here, he's got an outside light out of this door, and he should have an outlet somewhere going out. Let's see. There is an outlet somewhere here going outside. I'm looking for it. Should be one on this. Oh, here it is right here. He's got it in a box. This box is facing out. So normally I check for all those things on this first level. Okay. At this time I'm going to proceed up to the second floor, and normally what I do when I come in, I check to make sure that there's a switch on this level before I proceed up the steps, because code requires that you have a switch on both levels for the stairway light if you have more than 6 rides or 6 steps or more. So in this case, we've got more than 6 steps. So there's a switch here, and then there should be one upstairs, and I'm pretty sure it is. So then we'll proceed upstairs. Okay, all right. Once I enter the second floor, I immediately started looking for outlet spacing. So this room here appears to be some type of family room on this second floor. So I'll start to check the outlet spacing in here, which based on what I'm seeing, he's got all his outlets spaced to code, and he has to have a smoke alarm in the common area up here, which he's got it right here. And he has to have a smoke alarm in every bedroom, which there's one here in this bedroom. There is one here in this bedroom. And I also look for outlet spacing again in each one of these bedrooms when I come up. After entering all the other bedrooms up here, this is the master bedroom. I usually check the wiring for support, and this one seems to be supported as I do in all the bedrooms. Outlet spacing, the National Electrical Code requires that you have an outlet within 6 feet of a doorway both ways. And as you can see, he's got that here. He's 6 feet this way, he's 6 feet that way, and then he has to be every 12 feet after that. So this is obviously not more than 12 to that outlet. And from here, this is obviously not more than 12 to that outlet. He's using metal fan boxes in here, so I have to make sure that these metal boxes are bonded. Bonded means they have to be grounded, so it looks like these are, from what I'm seeing, these are properly grounded. And that's the other reason I carry this yardstick, so I can actually see them. Let's see, here we go. I can actually pull the wiring down to be able to see. And this one is properly bonded, yeah. So, once I do that, then I go into the master bath. where I will check for switches to make sure that his boxes are not overloaded. And in this case, this box is not overloaded. It has a cubic inch capacity in it that's more than enough for what he's got in it. I check his exhaust fans to make sure that they are connected. His lighting, to make sure that all his lighting is in the proper places. This is the master closet, which I will check to make sure that his lighting is installed in the proper place, because there's a requirement in these closets for shelving. So I'll make sure, and then this one appears to be properly located far enough. If he puts shelves on his back wall, his side wall, and this side wall, he'll have plenty of clearance from his light. And then once I leave the master closet, I usually browse around and do the same thing as I do in other bedrooms, make sure his wiring up top is supported, and he's got his outlets around the sink as required by code. He has to have an outlet within 3 feet of each basin. So in this case, he's gonna have 2 basins in here, one here and one here, and he's met the requirements on those outlets here and there. All right, so this is a rough draft of a rough-in inspection, and that is my way of keeping Mebane single-family dwellings and multifamily dwellings positively charming.